11 News starts with breaking news.
Dramatic pictures show the crushed front of a school bus. Take a look at that. Involved in a crash with a tanker truck in Butler County. The driver was hurt, but the 4 children on board are okay. We have several crews covering this story. We'll have live reports in less than a minute right here.
But first, we're tracking trouble. Looking live at the Parkway. Things are clear right now, but the weather system moving in is threatening to create dangerous conditions soon. For Pittsburgh, what will start as rain will turn into a wintry mix and then snow. And
Peggy, our chief meteorologist, Stephen Cropper, tracking when it will first start to see that snow. Stephen.
Hey, David, we're about an hour away from getting it into Pittsburgh. You can already see light rain falling up around Butler, 422 back towards Beaver, but the line of snow is pressing through Mercer, and that will continue to slide in as the temperatures fall. Take a quick look at Storm Tracker just for tonight, and you can see the progression of the snow from north to south. By 8 o'clock, temperatures will be cold enough for that snow to start to accumulate, and that means overnight tonight we will have icy spots. For all the totals, we're looking at about a 1 to 3 for Pittsburgh, and if you are traveling north up along I-80, you'll run into more there. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll take you neighborhood by neighborhood, show you how much snow you can expect to see and how it will impact your morning commute.
All right, Stephen, back to that breaking now. The front of a school bus almost unrecognizable after a crash with a tanker truck.
With that scary scene and the danger to students, we have a team of reporters on this breaking situation. We've kept you up to date on safety concerns and traffic with minute-by-minute alerts all afternoon. First now to Channel 11's Tamika Artis live at the scene on Route 422 in Summit Township, Butler County.
We are live right now on 422, where, as you can see behind me, that accident scene has now been cleared. But over here at this intersection, that is where state police say that tanker truck was parked at a red light, stopped at a red light, when a school bus traveling westbound here on 422 slammed into the back of it. Now, we're trying to get information on what happened, but we know that driver was pinned behind the wheel with 4 Indiana high school students on board. This is dramatic video of emergency workers struggling to free the injured school bus driver after he rear-ended a tanker truck on 422 near Bonnybrook Road. State police say both vehicles were traveling west in Summit Township around 2:30 when suddenly a massive collision sent debris flying and both drivers careening off course. Miraculously, all 4 Indiana high school students on the bus walked away without a scratch, and police say even the driver, who had to be life-flighted to a Pittsburgh hospital with serious injuries, is expected to survive, and here's why.
Seatbelts do terrific job a lot of times keeping people safe. This crash here is definitely a good depiction of exactly how a seatbelt can help somebody.
Again, the driver was flown to a Pittsburgh hospital in serious condition. We know that he is 67 years old and from Sharon, Pennsylvania. His name is not being released. And in my live report at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you what investigators are doing to try to determine the cause of this crash. That's the very latest from here in Summit Township. I'm Tamika Artis, the Channel 11 News.
All right, Tamika, we'll see you then. Again, there were 4 students on board the bus when it crashed. None of them hurt. They were all taken to Butler Memorial Hospital, though, and that's where Channel 11's Gordon Lesh live to continue our Team 11 coverage for us. Gordon, good evening.
David, good evening. And I just talked to 3 of those students just after they were released here from Butler Memorial Hospital. Their teacher wanted me to pass along that they are all doing okay. They were not hurt. They were just brought here to be checked out as a precaution. That teacher was following the school bus in a separate vehicle when the crash happened. Now take a look at this video from Chapter 11. The driver of the semi-truck involved in the crash was also brought here to Butler Memorial Hospital. State police just told me that he was treated for a back injury, but is also expected to be okay, and he is being released. All the students were from Indiana High School. They were on their way to a 3-day music field trip in Hermitage. The teacher told me that she and her 3 students that were with her this afternoon are all continuing on to that music competition. One of the students decided to go back home to Indiana with a parent. That's the latest from Butler. Gordon Lesh, Channel 11 News.
Well, the kids weren't hurt, but the bus driver was. Channel 11's Courtney Brennan is live at Allegheny General Hospital, where he's being treated right now.
That's
That's right, Peggy. The trauma team is working on this driver right now here at AGH. We are told he has very serious injuries, and right now doctors are not releasing his condition. Now, this driver was airlifted here to AGH around 2:45 this afternoon. This after he was stuck in the school bus for about 30 minutes after the crash. As investigators told Channel 11, the seatbelt saved this man's life. Now, we are checking in with the team here at AGH, and we'll have an update on the driver's condition in the next hour. Reporting live this evening, I'm Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
And today, the doctor who killed his wife by poisoning her with cyanide found out he will never get out of prison. A judge handed down a life sentence for Dr. Robert Ferrante without the possibility of parole. Channel 11's Alan Jennings was in the court and tracked down one of the jurors from the trial. He's live now. Alan?
She told me that she just had to come today. One of the jurors that convicted Robert Ferrante came to the sentencing. She said for a number of reasons. One, for closure. Two, to comfort Lois Klein. And three, to speak her piece about the man now convicted of the cyanide killing.
I wasn't necessarily compelled by the narrative of the prosecution. To me, it was the weight of the evidence.
Our story is about a rare peek into the minds of 12 men and women who listened to 3 grueling weeks of testimony.
Trying to understand.
Juror Helen Ewing was convinced that Robert Ferrante poisoned his wife, Dr. Autumn Klein. Ferrante was sentenced today to life, no parole. His lawyer will appeal, claiming prosecutors did not prove that Ferrante actually gave his wife that cyanide.
Hopefully we'll get the attention of the Superior Court and have this thing reversed and get a new trial.
But Helen Ewing told Channel 11 Diffenderfer's claim that jurors acted solely on circumstantial evidence is wrong.
And of course it was circumstantial, but when we added up all the pieces of it, it was clear.
Autumn Klein's mother, a tearful Lois Klein, couldn't read her own victim impact statement to the court. So prosecutor Lisa Pellegrini read it aloud for her. Lois Klein said she, meaning Autumn, was our only child. The light of our lives has now been extinguished. The first verdict vote, 2 jurors believed that Ferrante may not have done it. Hours later, the final vote came. Guilty.
Yeah. I don't think I could live with myself otherwise.
Now, in court today, Ferrante really had no emotion. When Judge Manning sentenced him, the judge said, "Do you have anything to say?" He said, "No, Your Honor, I don't." Now, coming up at 6, Autumn Klein's parents have filed a wrongful death suit against Robert Ferrante. See you at 6. Reporting live on Grand Street, Alan Jennings, Channel 11 News.
See you then, Alan. We took a look at what's involved in the appeals process for Ferrante. His attorneys now have 10 days to file motions. If those aren't granted, then Ferrante's team has 30 days from that date to file a notice of appeal. And appeals are centered around 2 questions. They're an error of law or an abuse of discretion, which means if it's found that there were not reasonable legal skills or decisions. If the Superior Court denies the appeal, well, it can move on to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And from there, if it's denied, then they can file with the federal court. Here at Channel 11 News, we're tracking Ferrante and his legal team's next move.
A woman was rushed to the hospital after being hit by a car downtown. Only Channel 11 was there as the victim was being put into an ambulance. She was hit as she walked down Ross Street near Bigelow Square around 11:30 this morning. You can see the side of the car's windshield cracked where the woman hit it. No word yet on how she's doing.
The case against the student charged with having a gun in his backpack at Braddock Hills Propel High School is moving forward. We were there as 18-year-old Shakir Gilmore walked into court today. Police say he put the gun in his backpack after a boy tried selling him one in the bathroom. His attorney talked to us after they got out of court.
Shakir is a good young man. He's never, ever, ever been in any type of trouble at all. We want to try to work this out the best we can.
Gilmore's attorneys say that they are in discussions about sending him to another school so he can get a fresh start. Tonight, Target 11 investigates more problems for Propel after an investigation ends with an instructor facing troubling charges. We're working on that for tonight, 11 at 11.
Police are asking for help finding a sex offender who's missing. Target 11 uncovered a crackdown on offenders, and this case is part of that investigation. Rick Earl is live with more on this convict that police are searching for now.
Yeah, Peggy, this convicted sex offender has a long criminal history. Tonight, investigators need your help tracking him down, but they warn he may be dangerous. Now, investigators are searching now for Dante Moss. He is wanted for failing to register as a convicted sex offender. Now, we also discovered that he's been in trouble for gun, drugs, and assault charges during the last decade. His last known address was right here on the north side. Now, Pittsburgh Police Detective Mike Veith is in charge of the new crackdown that began in mid-December and runs through March. The federal government chipped in some money to pay officers overtime to do these compliance checks on registered sex offenders. So far, Pittsburgh police have hit more than 170 homes, and they've issued 13 arrest warrants during this sweep. Now, 530 registered sex offenders live in the city of Pittsburgh. Right now, Pittsburgh police are randomly going door to door, checking on those sex offenders, making sure they're living where they say they are. That is the very latest. Reporting live on the north side, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
And you can check online to see if sex offenders live near you thanks to the Megan's Law website. We have a link on WPXI.com. Just click news and then seen on 11.
A driver slammed a truck into a house in Shaler Township. That truck was being towed away from the house as we pulled up to Gaia Road around noon today. Hit a corner of a front porch, knocking bricks to the ground there. A building inspector was sent to the home and found all the damage was to the front porch. This man being questioned in connection with a pharmacy robbery in Mercer County in the meantime, when police say he confessed to 7 robberies. Sharon police took 35-year-old Philip Root into custody yesterday. The clothes he was wearing will be used as evidence. They match what a man was caught on surveillance video wearing in 2 robberies. He'll be charged in robberies at the Walgreens and Dollar General in Sharon, a Circle K and Dollar Tree in Hermitage, and 2 stores right across the border in Brookfield, Ohio.
A nuisance bar in Monessen has been ordered to close for a year. A court ruled S&H Lounge threatens the peace, safety, and public welfare of the Monessen community. Channel 11 was there as it was padlocked last month. According to our partners at the Trib, the borough's police chief says that they're going to have a hearing with the Liquor Control Board within the next couple of weeks. There's been a number of incidents at the lounge, including a stabbing. Tonight, the Butler School District is holding its first public hearing after announcing a list of schools it plans to close. The district plans to close 5 elementary schools, but a parents group has been gathering signatures on a petition against the closings. Tonight's hearing starts at 6. It's going to be held at Butler Senior High School.
Police are searching for the man accused of kidnapping a teenager. I'm asking investigators about the car they want to find.
Snow on the way, falling temperatures. I'll take you neighborhood by neighborhood to show you how much snow to expect tomorrow.
State police accuse a Hempfield Township man of impersonating a fire police officer with this truck here, but we'll tell you why he says they have the story all wrong.
And a school bus with kids on board crashes into a tanker truck. Breaking news coverage continues in the next half hour right here as we find out the steps investigators are taking to figure out what caused this. All right, we're working hard to get the latest on this breaking news. In any minute, we're learning more about the extent of the injuries of this bus driver involved in this violent crash in Butler County. Chopper 11 captured crews whisking the man to a medical helicopter. There you see him on the stretcher. Quickly flown from Summit Township to Allegheny General Hospital. And Courtney Brennan is there live monitoring this breaking news. She'll let us know as soon as the doctors release any more information on it.
Westmoreland County man is facing charges tonight after driving a truck that is decorated to look like it is an emergency vehicle, but it is not. Police say he's pretending to be a fire police officer. Channel 11's Joe Holden talked to the suspect, and he's live with that man's side of the story. New at 5. Joe?
Peggy, good evening to you. I confirmed within the last 15 minutes with Westmoreland County's Department of Public Safety that this fire police association ran by this guy is not recognized by them. In fact, they tell me that this wouldn't even be possible as permitted by state law. But as you said, we went to the accused, we got his side of the story, and he tells Channel 11 the allegations against him are, quote, absolutely ridiculous.
They liked our idea. They thought it was great.
Guy Roubaix, a self-described veteran of the fire service, says his fire police organization has been well received by county officials, even the state. He showed us his laminated identification badge.
These are our articles of incorporation.
Guy also showed us a binder full of legal documents indicating the steps he's taken to create his fire police association. But Guy has run afoul of the law. Because of this official-looking truck, he's charged with impersonating a fire police officer. It appears that you are fully operational based on your truck.
The truck is just like any other display, okay? It was set up as a display to show the state and show other people that this is what this department would look like.
But police say the truck looks just like the real deal. Even with the badge, the legal papers, and the fancy official truck, Guy admitted to me his organization isn't operational yet. So in early January, Guy says he came upon a stuck tractor trailer. He showed Channel 11 the video captured by his truck camera. He says it was state police who asked him for help.
He was under the assumption, based on the insignia and all the things that are required for fire police departments, that this person was a fire police officer when in fact he was not.
But Guy says he will fight the allegations. And about that truck, do you think it could be misleading?
No, not at all.
Well, Guy Roubaix was also charged for another incident stemming from Halloween, where state police say he was driving through the neighborhood distributing candy with his lights on, the light bar on top of that a very official-looking truck. Roubaix told me in response to those allegations, he says he was just trying to drum up publicity for that association. That's the story live tonight outside State Police in Greensburg. I'm Joe Holden, Channel 11 News.
All right, Joe, and plans for revitalizing the site of the old Civic Arena in the Lower Hill District are moving forward. Yesterday, City Council approved a zoning change that will allow the project to proceed. The ordinance was years in the making, formed between community groups and the city. That project includes construction of the U.S. Steel's new headquarters and affordable housing. A Trafford woman has been sentenced to probation in a prostitution case. Jamie Conti and her boyfriend were accused of advertising prostitution services outside their home on 2nd Street. Our partners at the Trib tell us that Conti will spend 12 months on probation and undergo a drug and alcohol evaluation. Police say they also found suspected heroin, crack cocaine, and marijuana in the couple's home.
50 tons of salt was delivered to Ford City just in time for tonight's snow. We told you yesterday the streets and sidewalks in the Armstrong County Borough are a mess. A councilman told Channel 11 the borough asked for bids for salt in September, but never got any, so they didn't buy any salt until recently. Road crews will have their hands full playing catch up, and they will have to treat the roads again when the snow moves through tonight.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
And that snow already showing up on Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar. Let me get right to it and show you coming in from the north and west. Top left of your screen there, you see the snow pressing across the state line. Green, that is a little rain mixing with the snow, which will eventually be overtaken by the snow as cold air wins the battle tonight. Closer look on Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar network, most powerful radar in the area. And what's great about this is we can actually show you where that transition line is starting to take place. Grove City in the snow along I-80. South of there, light rain showers working through Butler over the 422. Within the next hour, though, we will see that line sagging southward and eventually coming across Pittsburgh. Here is your forecast for tonight through tomorrow morning. This is about a 6-hour snow event that will continue in earnest, and then we'll see scattered snow showers as we work our way through the overnight. By 7, 8 o'clock, temperatures falling to the point where snow will fall, and then by tomorrow morning, we're looking at snow showers mainly south and east of the city. So it's a quick in, quick out. But the totals will still come in that 1 to 3 inch range, with some of the early snow melting around Pittsburgh. Let me take you county by county to show you the totals expected in your neighborhood by tomorrow. Most of it falling through tomorrow morning. Around 3 inches where it's colder in Newcastle, 2 to 3 around Beaver. You'll come in that 2 to 3 inch range around Pittsburgh, 1 to 2 inch range around Washington. Taking you east of the city, temperatures will cool off, and eventually we will see the 2 to 3 inch totals around Greensburg, Jeanette, Irwin, Trafford, Trafford, a little bit more around Armstrong, and a little bit less where it'll stay warmer around Uniontown. Numbers north, you are colder, so it will stay cold longer there, and you'll get the snow accumulating in the 2 to 3 inch range, and then Clarion at 2 to 3 inch, as well as areas to the south around Waynesburg may end up closer to the 2 inch pending the temperature change, but less as you head into the higher elevations where the snow will start to wind down. 14 tomorrow morning, so snow flurries will still be left over. A 1 to 3 inch accumulation that you'll have to deal with. Maybe wipe off your car. Check the sidewalks too, with those temperatures falling from the 40s now into the teens by tomorrow morning. The potential for another flash freeze with all of the water on the roadways. Watch this forecast. 34 by 6 o'clock, dropping into the 20s by midnight, and eventually down to the teens tomorrow morning. So rock salt's not going to be that effective at that temperature, so take it easy as you head out the door, and then watch for icy spots through the day. 5-day forecast, severe weather Team 11. Cold is the story after the snow ends tomorrow. Temperatures continue to fall. 7 tomorrow night. 29 Friday with wind chills in the single digits, and then moderating a bit for the weekend, but another system brings some rain, changing to snow showers by Sunday night.
Well, what used to be a busy supermarket is in shambles tonight and partially collapsed.
And Peggy, our cameras caught the flames shooting through the building. There you see it. And now we've learned why investigators are calling this fire suspicious.
Investigators say the dogs at this kennel were living in cruel conditions. Only 11 is talking to the owner and asking her what went wrong.
We clean constantly, we pressure wash constantly.
The owner of a kennel cited for keeping its animals in inhumane conditions is speaking out, saying she didn't mean to do anything wrong. We first told you last week when inspectors found dogs in dirty and freezing cold conditions at the Angel Ridge Animal Rescue in Chartiers Township.
And tonight, only Channel 11 News reporter Kara Sapida talked to the owner and got a look at that facility.
Angel Ridge Animal Shelter adopted out more than 200 dogs in the last year that they saved. The owner gave us an exclusive tour of the facility. She says she wants people to see it. This after the state gave them 15 citations. Angel Ridge Animal Shelter walked us through their halls where the state says dogs are living in unsanitary conditions. In early January, state dog wardens wrote 15 citations, including one saying the kennel was 32 degrees with no additional measures taken to protect the dogs.
Kennel worker came in and said there is no heat. And we had the plumber out. They figured out that there was no gas coming to the building.
Owner Nancy Shannon told Channel 11 the inspection came one day after the gas line froze. She says gas workers were fixing it during the inspection and volunteers took action.
They brought blankets in. One volunteer went out and purchased sweaters.
The state also cited them for waste from a bird infestation, which the owner does not deny.
You see the birds in there. There's really no way to keep them out. We've tried big plastic owls all around the building inside. We have a screaming eagle machine on the wall that is supposed to deter them.
The screaming hawk machine did scare us, but apparently doesn't work for the birds.
During this crisis, our worker was unable to get to the scrubbing of the bars.
What about people who say you get a lot of money, a lot of donations, build a new barn, build a new structure?
We don't get that much in donations.
But Channel 11 uncovered last year Angel Ridge got a major estate donation of nearly $200,000.
It's in a savings account. It goes primarily for unexpected vet expenses.
In Chartiers Township, Kara Sapida, Channel 11 News.
You use them to protect your home and your family in a fire.
But not all smoke alarms work the same way. Target 11 investigation uncovers that some types of sensors may not detect danger as quickly. Ahead at 5:45, see what happens when we put them to the test.
A teenager abducted off the street, but she managed to get away. We've got the description of the car police are searching for.
And continuing coverage of breaking news, a school bus and tanker collide next. We're asking investigators about the steps they're taking to uncover what went wrong as our breaking coverage continues.
Channel 11 News, back with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. A wintry mix is coming our way, and while drivers are moving smoothly on the roads right now, snow combined with dropping temperatures could create some big problems.
This is getting closer and closer to the city as we speak, and our chief meteorologist Stephen Cropper tracking what to expect in Severe Weather Center 11. Stephen.
Already seeing snow to the north, David. I-80 corridor a little colder, so the snow is there. The green is a rain-snow mix, and that continues to slide southward. As Peggy and David were saying, it is moving closer to Pittsburgh. So let me show you the forecast. This takes us from 6 o'clock tonight through the evening, and you can see that line sliding southward. So there will be snow in the area tonight. Your evening plans impacted as the temperatures fall, and then by tomorrow morning we'll end up with that 1 to 3 inch accumulation for most areas. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to show you that temperature fall hour by hour. We'll talk about the potential for a flash freeze in some spots and icy spots for your morning commute.
All right, we'll see you then. Now continuing breaking news coverage of a school bus crash in Butler County and the investigation into how this happened.
Let's get right back to Channel 11's Tamika Artist, who is live at the scene there.
We have been here in Summit Township from start to finish, and we know that that accident scene has been cleared, but we also know that the beginning of the investigation into what happened here is just beginning. Now, what we do know is that that tanker truck was parked here on Bonnie Brook Road at 422 here in the westbound lane. He was stopped at this light, is what state police tell us, when a school bus that was traveling west on 422 for some reason crashed into the back of that tanker. Now state police investigators will be looking at every angle: speeding, mechanical failure, or did the driver become distracted for some reason? Now we know the driver is from Sharon. He was life flighted with serious injuries. He is expected to survive. Coming up in my live report at 6, we will tell you about the 4 students who were also on the bus and the driver who pitched in to help out. Reporting live here in Summit Township, I'm Tamika Artist, Channel 11 News.
Police are asking for help finding a car whose driver kidnapped a teenager right off the street. We first told you about this story as it was breaking on 11 at 11 last night. And since then, Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky learned about the incident that is making people nervous. Renee.
Police tell me this happened right behind me here on Wood Street, just a block from the police station at almost this exact time yesterday. It's the kind of crime that has everyone here in Wilkinsburg talking.
I think that's terrible.
Parents and grandparents in Wilkinsburg told Channel 11 they want this guy caught before he tries it again. Police are looking for the suspect.
Oh, good. And I hope they catch him.
According to police, a 13-year-old girl was on Wood Street, a very busy street in the heart of Wilkinsburg, about 5:20 Tuesday, when a middle-aged man forced her into his car. The victim told police she was grabbed off the sidewalk somewhere between the 1100 and 1500 blocks. From there, the 7th grader told police the man drove her several miles away into North Braddock. Police aren't sure how long he held her captive in that car or where they went, but she managed to get away once they were here in North Braddock. And tonight, police are working on a new description of that suspect. Once the girl was free, she contacted her mother, and both spent hours with detectives at police headquarters. What do you tell your grandchildren about watching out for strangers and all that?
Just don't go up to them, because, I mean, it's not safe. Just don't go up to them. Be very careful, be vigilant, be observant. That's all you can tell them, and pray.
Police tell me the man was driving an orange or a peach-colored vehicle, possibly a Chevrolet. They are working to gather more information on this alleged abduction right now. Reporting live in Wilkinsburg, I'm Renee Kaminsky, Channel 11 News.
Hi, Renee, and Channel 11 News with new details on a car dealership owner in Wilkinsburg accused of scheming dozens of customers. Police tell the Post-Gazette more alleged victims have come forward, bringing the total number to 40 now. Philip Vixman is accused of not forwarding fees to PennDOT from his shop, Penn Avenue Auto Sales. That shop is now closed. The charges against Vixman are still pending. Cal U planning big changes after a review of the school's football program was made public. University's president ordered the review after 6 football players were charged with nearly beating a man to death. The report faults the university for not having consistent disciplinary procedures. Our legal analyst believes the school should implement criminal background checks.
I think it's important that they do criminal background checks. Any player that is transferring from one school to another, it's very, very important that they get their full dossier, their full record, whether it be academics, scholastics, or criminal background checks.
The report outlined 32 recommendations to fix the athletic culture there at the college.
A building that once housed a busy supermarket is now falling to the ground and barely recognizable. Walker's Market was already closed, but now it is gone. Our cameras caught flames shooting through the building when that fire started early this morning. And tonight, investigators are calling the blaze suspicious. Channel 11's Brandon Hudson talked to neighbors who witnessed the flames.
The Aliquippa Fire Chief says this fire is suspicious because this building was secure. You can take a look on one side of the building. An entire wall is missing. You can come around front and then see more of the damage. We spoke to the mayor and neighbors who both say this building was a pillar in the community. We saw flames rekindle more than once, shooting from the collapsed roof of this building on Davis Street in Aliquippa this morning.
I went upstairs to my bedroom window and I could see the building clear as day was in flames, engulfed in flames.
Neighbors knew this place as a market recently. Before that, it was a senior center. Aliquippa Mayor Dwan Walker says the building was there for decades.
Since I was a kid, that's where we used to go. Trick or treat, anything that was going on in the city from politicians to come in, that's where you would meet at.
The Aliquippa Fire Chief says one of his firefighters was shocked by a power line upon entry. He will be okay.
All the fire departments that responded, I just want to thank them for it because they responded fast.
You can see the fire also damaged the side of a neighboring building across the street. The fire marshal is investigating the cause of this fire. In Aliquippa, Brandon Hudson, Channel 11 News.
And Channel 11 News with the latest on a woman and her son accused of killing her ex-husband. Well, today, Lisa Jones-Orrock and Zachary Jones were due in court for a hearing. Police say they left Gerald Orrock for dead near a loading dock behind an Elwood City grocery store in December. Both face murder and conspiracy charges. Stunning video of a plane crash in Taiwan. Looks like something out of a movie.
It's remarkable. You may have seen this dash cam video online tonight. We're learning how people who weren't even on the plane were injured.
It was about 65 degrees in there, but I got my COPD started acting up.
And the gift that will keep a local veteran from another night in the cold. Breaking news, there's a fire right now in North Strabane. There you see, it's a pretty big one. This is at or near a drilling location. Chopper 11 just arrived above the scene of that breaking news. A Range Resources spokesperson tells us there are no reported injuries, but again, this fire is in its early stages. We will have more details for you on this breaking news during this newscast.
Demolition is underway for abandoned homes in McKeesport. When our crew got to Colfax Street today, we found construction equipment and what is left of a home. Public Works crews are now taking over a job that was contracted to a private company last year. The Trib tells us the goal is to bring down 2 homes a week. Allegheny County is paying for the demolitions. Turning now to the measles outbreak and the concern here in Pennsylvania. Our state is lagging when it comes to vaccinations. According to our partners at the Trib, health officials worry that children in this state aren't getting their vaccines on time. About 95% of American kindergartners have the recommended 2 doses, but in Pennsylvania, it's only about 86%. The lowest vaccination rate is 63% in Butler County.
Well, the death toll expected to rise in a plane crash in Taiwan that was caught on video. Take a look. Maybe you've seen this dramatic video online. It's amazing. Just after takeoff, the plane makes a sharp turn, clips a taxi cab, and a bridge with its wing ends up in the river. Rescue crews on boats rush to that wreckage. 15 people, amazingly, as you look at that, were saved. Right now, 26, though, are confirmed dead. 2 other people who were in a car on the bridge that was clipped by the wing of the plane as it went down were also hurt. It's not clear what caused that plane to make that sharp turn and then crash.
Never seen anything like
That's
that.
amazing, isn't it? Well, 2 men were unloading groceries in a Pittsburgh neighborhood when they were shot at.
It shouldn't be like this.
Channel 11 tracked down the victim's friend. What he says didn't happen after the shooting that makes it even more confusing.
Minutes could mean the difference between life to the amount of property damage.
They are in 90% of homes, but experts say one kind of smoke detector may not give you enough protection. See the results when a Target 11 puts the sensors to the test. All right, back to that breaking news we mentioned just a moment ago. A big fire burning right now in North Strabane. This is clearly at a drilling site. Chopper 11 just arrived above the scene of this breaking news only about 4 minutes ago. The exact location, 257 Ross Road. A Range Resources spokesperson tells us no reported injuries, but again, this fire is in its early stages. We'll have the updates for you during this newscast.
And Channel 11 News now with the latest on a road closure in Springfield. Pittsburgh Street between Duquesne Court and Washington Street reopened just after 2 this afternoon. That road had been closed since Friday after a crane hit a bridge over the road. Crews are working to install shoring posts under the bridge, and drivers are asked to use caution. 1 person was killed and 3 others hurt in an apartment complex fire near Philadelphia. Crews battled flames for more than 3 hours at this building in Norristown. Firefighters had to set up a perimeter to keep people safe after one of the buildings partially collapsed. Investigators believe the fire may have started in a trash chute, but the exact cause is not clear.
Tonight, Target 11 sounding the alarm about something you may have in your home. Our investigation discovered your family's smoke detector may not give you enough time to escape during a fire. Our investigator, Gordon Lesh, put those alarms to the test. And Gordon, what'd you find out?
David, good evening. 90% of us have this type of smoke alarm in our homes. This is an ionization smoke detector, and while it can alert you to danger in your home, some experts say it may take too long in certain kinds of fires. Testing the technologies your family relies on in the event of a fire. Target 11 coordinated with the Allegheny County Fire Academy to see the difference between 2 types of smoke detectors. Most experts in research agrees ionization detectors, the ones that are in 90% of U.S. homes, are generally better at sensing fast, blazing fires. But photoelectric are better at detecting slow, smoky, smoldering fires. We got trained firefighters to put them to the test. We started by setting a smoldering fire in this closed room.
Our center detector activated first.
It takes just over 14 minutes for the photoelectric to sound. But watch, more toxic smoke is building. It took more than 28 minutes, twice the time, for either of the ionization alarms to go off.
Activation of the second smoke detector.
We also did a second test, setting a fast, flaming fire with a torch and straw. In this case, all of the alarms went off nearly simultaneously, less than a minute after the fire started.
This is kind of what you expected?
Yes. Steve Imberlina is the division chief at the Fire Academy. He says the difference has to do with the type of smoke and the way the different technologies detect it.
Open flame, there's more heat. Heat is energy. Energy is converted to kinetic energy, the energy of movement, so that smoke is going to move faster.
He says our test shows the ionization detector has a slower response in a smoldering fire. And according to the National Fire Protection Association, most fire deaths are not caused by burns, but by smoke inhalation.
Minutes could mean the difference between life to the amount of property damage.
It's a critical issue that the public cannot ignore.
Dean Dennis has made it his mission to warn people about the differences. His daughter Andrea, along with 4 others, were killed in a fire near Ohio State University in 2003. That house had 6 ionization smoke detectors. We talked to Dean by Skype from his home near Cincinnati.
All the kids that died in the rooms they were in. They literally did not have a chance.
Groups like the U.S. Fire Administration recommend that you use both kinds of detectors in your home or a dual sensor alarm, but the International Association of Firefighters recommends only photoelectric, saying that the benefit of a dual sensor alarm is marginal and more expensive.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Well, snow moving through the area. It's changing from rain to snow as it slides southward. So don't forget the WPXI Wake Up app. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh will come on your phone and give you the latest forecast for tomorrow morning. And by that point, there will be some shoveling snow in the area. Right now, the snow is falling north of the city where the temps have been colder. Butler getting some light rain showers. But the progression for the evening tonight in the next 2 to 3 hours will be for that cold air to win the battle. So it will start to change that rain over to snow for Pittsburgh, eventually Jeanette, Irwin, Trafford, and Washington by later tonight. Totals overnight tonight through early tomorrow morning will generally be on the light side, and for your morning commute, the bulk of the snow left over will be north or east of the city, I should say, east and south. So morning commute, there won't be a lot of snow falling, but there will have been as much as 1 inch to 3 inches that had fallen as we work our way through the overnight and early tomorrow morning. So take some extra time. Be sure and tune in early tomorrow morning with Tricia Pittman and Scott Harbaugh as they get you out the door. Snow tonight, accumulation 1 to 3 inches. We do keep a moderate risk of some slick roadways. Air temperatures really warmed up today, almost like springtime, but you can already see the blue here. The colder air is winning the battle, and in the next 4 hours, we're going to see those temperatures dropping down below freezing. So if you're shuttling kids around tonight, maybe you're grabbing a bite out to eat or you're headed to work later, air temperatures will fall and eventually road temperatures will be below freezing, and that will set up what could be another flash freeze by tomorrow morning as air temperatures are actually forecast to come back down into the teens. So melting snow, water on the roads, heads up for that tomorrow morning. Anything that's not treated will be icy with a 1 to 3 inch accumulation and a 14-degree air temperature as you head out the door. We're in the 40s now. We're headed down to 14 by tomorrow morning. 41 is your number. West-southwesterly wind at 6. Wanted to break down the day part for you tomorrow. 7 a.m. we'll still have a few leftover flurries with snow showers east and south of the city. 12-degree temperature coming back by noon and falling even more as we head through the 5 o'clock commute. It will be snow-free but very cold with a temperature down to 11 by tomorrow night and eventually down into the single digits as we see this 15 early during the day. Numbers down into the single digits, some areas near 0 by tomorrow night. Morning snow flurries left over, sunshine back mixed with clouds for Friday, but be prepared for another very cold start. Wind chills will be down around 0 to 5 below again, and then gradually through the weekend we'll start to warm things up just a bit. Numbers come back to 43 on Saturday. Late day we'll see a system moving through that will bring some light rain showers, and then on Sunday we're still watching very closely the ultimate track of another system. At this point it appears to be warm enough to start as rain mixing with snow late day. Leftover snow showers could impact your morning commute coming in for the daytime on Monday as temperatures take yet another hit.
Today, a jury found a Fayette County man guilty of a deadly accident in Connellsville. This comes from our partners at the Trib. Jonathan Schroyer was accused of running a red light and crashing into a car on Route 119 back in 2011. 22-year-old David Pra was killed. Prosecutors say Schroyer failed to slow down as the light turned red.
They put their lives on the line to fight for our freedoms.
Now a local company is giving back to veterans who've fallen on hard times.
My furnace quit on a Thursday night about a month ago.
How the sacrifices he made decades ago are leading to help for a present-day problem.
And the heartbroken parents of Dr. Autumn Klein left the court today after their son-in-law was sentenced in her death. New at 6, the challenges they face trying to raise the couple's young daughter.
Plus, continuing coverage right here, how someone at the scene of this school bus crash stepped in to help the students on board.
And a huge fire happening right now at Range Resources drilling site in North Strabane. Chopper 11 is live. Breaking coverage continues next.
All right, back to our breaking news. A big fire burning right now in North Strabane. Chopper 11 over that scene as the sun begins to set where a drilling rig is on fire, but you can see the flames and the smoke there. In the last 10 minutes, we have gotten new information. Range Resources tells us it appears a piece of equipment failed and then broke a line, causing that fire. They tell us there are no reported injuries right now, but this fire is clearly raging as Chopper 11 zooms in on those flames, and the smoke right now doesn't seem to be going away. We've been seeing flames leaping into the air. Looks like it may be spreading to the containers next to the rig. We'll keep on top of this for you.
My furnace quit on a Thursday night about a month ago.
He protected our freedom, and now local workers are making sure he doesn't spend another cold night inside his home. Channel 11's Kara Sapaida was there as the Korean War veteran was given the gift of warmth.
This local veteran found himself in need for the last 4 weeks. He has not had heat until today. Jesse McDonald turns 80 this year. The Korean veteran has severe arthritis, has trouble getting around, but that didn't stop him from showing us a photo of his beautiful wife who passed away a few years ago.
It was a honeymoon every weekend.
McDonald had a rough winter. 4 weeks ago, his heater broke and he couldn't afford a new furnace.
And it was about 65 degrees in there, but I got my COPD started acting up.
McDonald told us he called the VFW for help. A week later, the Galease truck pulled up. Galease has a program to help veterans in need. McDonald fit the bill, and today he received a brand new furnace.
Well, I surely appreciate it.
At the end of the day, this is just something small we can give back to somebody that, like this gentleman, he's 80 years old and he fought in Korea for us. So, it's a great feeling to be able to do this for these guys.
Galease has donated 4 furnaces to veterans in need over the last year. Kara Sapaida, Channel 11 News.
2 big breaking stories happening right now as Lisa joins David for the 6 o'clock news.
Yes, indeed, Peggy. Take a look at this huge fire in North Strabane Township. You're looking live pictures there from Chopper 11. Our coverage of this major breaking news story continues right now at 6.
I'm tracking snow in your neighborhood and then a drastic drop in temperatures.
Chopper 11 shows the impact after a school bus crash.
New at 6, I'll tell you about the driver who jumped in to save the students on board.
And I'm live at the hospital where the bus driver is recovering tonight.
His friend shot after grocery shopping.
He says, help me, I'm hurt.
He tells only Channel 11 about what he heard before the gunshots.
Their daughter was poisoned with cyanide. Now the new fight for Dr. Autumn Klein's family.
Now, Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
Good evening. Channel 11 News has Chopper 11 live above North Strabane Township right now, and you can see why. Huge flames shooting from a drilling site operated by Range Resources. Those flames don't look like they're getting any smaller. They tell us nobody was hurt. We will have more on this breaking news story in just a moment.
But first, take a look at Pittsburgh's most powerful radar. You can see it's showing more snow moving into our area right now, and it's going to be enough to cause some slick spots on the roads.
And our chief meteorologist, Stephen Cropper, using the best technology in the region to pinpoint where the most snow will fall. Stephen.
Hey, David, with Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar, we can show you that rain-snow line, clearly getting some light rain showers in Butler, but north up in Mercer County, already getting some light snow mixing in. So that is going to be the trend tonight as we watch the approach of this system from north to south. Take a look at your television. This is the forecast going from 6 o'clock tonight through the evening. So areas around Pittsburgh, Wexford, down to Penn Hills, you'll start to see that rain changing to snow. And by 8 to 10 o'clock, Pittsburgh down to Greensburg and Washington all getting snow showers. Now here are your snow accumulation totals through tomorrow. The bulk of the snow winding down prior to the morning commute, but clearly there will be enough snow to shovel. Anything untreated will be icy as you head out the door. I've got a neighborhood by neighborhood look at your snow accumulation forecast, and talking of wind chills down below zero, full forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Back to Chopper 11 live now over a fire at a drilling site in North Strabane. Breaking news as large flames are shooting from the scene. You can see it right there. This is a huge fire. Range Resources gave us a statement just a short while ago. It says that it appears that a piece of equipment failed and ruptured a hydraulic line that caught fire. At this point, there are no reports of any injuries here. We do have a crew on the way on the ground too. We hope to have a live report just a little bit later in this newscast. But as you can see, this investigator is going to be out there for a while.
Yes, indeed. And another big breaking story today. A school bus driver in the hospital right now after this violent crash. It's another breaking situation at this hour. Channel 11's been uncovering brand new details this afternoon. Now, there were 4 students on that bus, but thankfully they were not hurt.
But the school bus driver was taken to Allegheny General Hospital. We start our team coverage with Tamika Artis, and she has learned about a person at the scene who helped those students. Tamika.
When the school bus crashed here earlier tonight on 422, the bus driver became trapped and couldn't get out himself. So it was up to a teacher who was traveling with the group to jump into action and help those 4 high school students on board. All 4 Indiana high school students on the bus that crashed today in Summit Township walked away unharmed. They were on their way to a 3-day musical event in Hermitage when their driver crashed into the back of a tanker truck and got pinned behind the wheel. State police say a teacher who was traveling behind the bus drove the students to Butler Hospital, where they were monitored and released. Fortunately, both drivers were wearing their seatbelts at the time.
The driver of the school bus was from Sharon, Pennsylvania, and can't release his name at this point. And also, right now, just some interviews being done, attempting to be done, with the students. Troopers who went to the hospital talked with the students.
Now, the cause of the crash is still under investigation. And while I've been here on the scene covering the investigation, my colleague Courtney Brennan has been at Allegheny General Hospital covering the bus driver. That is where he is recovering tonight.
Right now, the trauma team is still working on this driver, and doctors are not yet releasing his condition. He does have very serious injuries at this point. This driver was airlifted here to AGH around 2:45 this afternoon. This after he was stuck in that school bus for about 30 minutes after the crash. As investigators told Channel 11, the seatbelt saved this man's life. We are constantly checking in with the team here at AGH and hope to have a condition on this driver later tonight. I'm Courtney Brennan for Channel 11 News.
Our coverage of this breaking story continues on WPXI.com. We've posted raw video from Chopper 11 of the rescue. You can watch it right now on your smartphone.
You shouldn't be able to be afraid to go someplace in your own neighborhood.
The end of a shopping trip turns dangerous. That man's friend was shot while walking to a Hazelwood home. The two had just returned from grocery shopping early this morning when they heard voices and then gunshots. Channel 11's Damani Lewis, the only reporter to talk with the victim's friend. Damani, how's that man doing tonight?
Well, the friend tells Channel 11 that he was brought here to Presby for surgery on his leg. We are awaiting to hear a condition update on him. As for police, they say they're continue to look for answers in this investigation.
I heard, like I said, 2 voices, and all of a sudden, as I was getting down the steps, I heard 4 shots.
He says the two were returning home from the grocery store. Seconds after they got out of their car, they were ambushed.
I turned around. He says, "Help me, I'm hurt." I said, "What happened?" He says, "I got shot."
Livingood says the 2 men took nothing and ran off. His friend was rushed to the hospital and taken into surgery after he was shot in the leg. For neighbors, they say they're surprised about the violence.
Normally, this is like one of the best parts of Hazelwood to me.
Pretty bad when you can't come from a store shopping in your own neighborhood and get shot by somebody.
And tonight, again, we continue to wait for word on a condition update. Now, as for police, they say if you have any information about this case, please give them a call. We're live outside of UPMC Presby. Damani Lewis, Channel 11 News.
And today, the medical examiner ruled on the cause of death for an elderly couple in Ross Township. Sadly, the ME says Alfred and Margaret Nally took their own lives together. It was breaking news here yesterday at this time when their bodies were found in the condominium on Charlemagne Circle.
A life sentence for the Pitt researcher found guilty of poisoning his wife with cyanide. Dr. Robert Ferrante learned his punishment today, and Channel 11's Alan Jennings has been in that courtroom for every development of this big story. And new at 6, he's live tonight with the new fight for the victim's family. Alan?
We just learned that Autumn Klein's parents have been forced to file a wrongful death suit against their son-in-law, the now convicted killer of their daughter. I was in court today when Robert Ferrante was sentenced to life, no parole. Escorted by lead prosecutor Lisa Pellegrini, Lois and Bill Klein left the courtroom shortly before noon today without speaking. After nearly draining their retirement funds to care for their granddaughter, the Kleins filed a wrongful death suit against Robert Ferrante. Now their lawyer is seeking to establish a trust fund for 7-year-old Sierra.
If you remember, the judge had an order in effect that froze his assets, except he could use them for his criminal defense. So we need to find out what's left.
Gismondi talked about the Klein's struggle to care for their granddaughter.
Well, I mean, it's, as she says, it's an unimaginable thing. You essentially have a child who's lost both parents.
According to the jury, cyanide poisoning killed Sierra's mother, and today her father was sentenced to life in prison, no parole for her death. Robert Ferrante's lawyer will appeal, saying there was no direct evidence that the Pitt researcher actually poisoned his wife.
It's a circumstantial case, so any circumstantial case results in a jury having to infer something.
The Klein's lawyer told me that he hopes to get the trust fund issue with 7-year-old Sierra settled in the coming weeks. As far as the wrongful death suit, that's likely to be scheduled for trial later this year. Live at the courthouse on Grant, Alan Jennings, Channel 11 News.
Today's sentencing is the final chapter of a story Channel 11 News has been following for nearly 2 years. On April 15, 2013, Dr. Robert Ferrante placed an overnight order for cyanide to be delivered to his lab. 2 days later, Dr. Autumn Klein collapsed in her home. She died 2 days after that. Ferrante was questioned by police on April 25, 2013. He was arrested exactly 3 months later in West Virginia while driving from Florida to Pittsburgh. And this past November, Ferrante was found guilty by a jury that deliberated for 15 hours.
Meantime, students at Penn Middle School in the Penn Trafford School District were evacuated today after a bomb threat was found there. Now, we first brought you this as breaking news at noon. Students were evacuated to McCullough Elementary, then taken to Penn Trafford High School. Neighbors afraid to leave their homes. When they did, they had to crawl on their hands and knees.
It's like 8 layers of ice.
Yeah, the huge amount of work it's taking just to get neighbors on 1 Pittsburgh street out of their houses.
A busy road turns into a river and it's still causing headaches. The problems this rushing water caused for businesses and commuters.
And live Chopper 11 pictures from North Strabane, where a rig operated by Range Resources is now on fire. This is a big fire, big flames there right now. We'll keep watching this for you. Breaking news right here on Channel 11.
Channel 11 News, back with breaking news.
Back to our breaking story that we have been following all afternoon. It looks like crews are now getting some foam on this fire. Within the past few minutes, the DEP says this fire in North Strabane Township is under control. Range Resources operates this site. No one was hurt is what we've been told at this point, and it does look like at least the flames that we saw just a short while ago that were actively shooting, it's no longer quite the case, but you do see some flames there, so this fire and a lot of smoke there as well. So even though they're saying that it's under control, you can still see those flames. And Channel 11's Courtney Brennan is on the way. You can look for live updates all night on WPXI.com and tonight on 11 at 11.
Meantime, neighbors trapped. They couldn't get their cars off this Pittsburgh street. It was so bad they had to crawl out of their houses. Channel 11's Tricia Pittman was there when road crews were finally able to break the ice.
I want you to take a look at this piece of ice, 4 to 5 inches of solid ice. Ice that is literally stopping residents of Perry South in their tracks.
Thank you, Jesus. I ain't thought we was ever going to get out of there.
Sharia Hurd was finally able to move her SUV with the help of city salt and plow trucks, which encountered their own problems along the way.
The city truck, like I said, got stuck. I asked them if they could help me. They seen how stuck and how icy it was out here. And they said, this is a shame. We got to get you out of here.
Before this salt truck driver could help anyone, the weight of his truck broke through ice more than a foot deep, leaving him stuck too. Deborah Richardson's husband just had surgery. She feared an ambulance wouldn't be able to transport him when he needed an emergency return trip to the hospital.
And I told the dispatcher, I said, be careful when you come because I have all this ice in the front of my house. I don't want nobody to fall.
Water runoff from properties above Chautauqua Street is the cause of this ongoing ice jam.
You have to get down on your hands and knees and crawl through the ice in order to get to the street.
Neighbors dread each weather report delivering below freezing temperatures.
The city has been helping throwing the salt, but it's an unwinning battle. It's an unwinning battle.
Tricia Pittman, Channel 11 News.
And 2 teenagers accused in a home invasion and shooting in Tarentum will stand trial. 17-year-old Dorian Smedley and 17-year-old Dominic Balsamo are facing charges including attempted homicide, aggravated assault, and robbery. Police say the teens knocked on the door of a Short Street home on New Year's Day and they confronted the family inside. Smedley and Balsamo allegedly pulled out guns. Seth Reed was shot in the stomach during the attempted robbery. He was able to point out Smedley and Balsamo in a photo lineup.
You're your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Snow making steady progress. Just checked around Newcastle. Temperatures at freezing and snow falling there. Let me show you the latest on Storm Tracker Doppler 11 radar. 1 million watts of power, and it's showing the clear line of some light rain moving into Pittsburgh, North Hills, while snow is falling to the north, and that is going to be the progression tonight. Over the next hour to 2 hour period, this line will continue to sag southward, and the cold air will also be moving in, so there will be some slushy accumulation to start. Areas north just issued a winter weather advisory. This for Mercer, Venango, and Forest. So if you are traveling north tonight, know that it's been colder longer there, so a greater chance to get some accumulating snow there. Here's your storm tracker map again, and this is the slide from north to south. The cold air is kind of moving with this system. Out ahead of it, a slight chance you'll get some rain showers for Greensburg over to Washington, and then by 8 to 10 tonight, it'll be cold enough for snow to fall across Jeanette, Irwin, Trafford, Pittsburgh. And then eventually through the overnight and early tomorrow, we'll see that snow start to wind down, so that as you head out the door tomorrow, the snow will have stopped, but there will be that accumulation of anywhere from 1 to 3 inches around the Pittsburgh, Butler, Greensburg, Washington area, with more to the north. So county by county, more snow expected north than south. Here's the critical issue. It's already down to 32 now in Beaver Falls, 40 in Pittsburgh. That's a huge spread in the temps. But look what happens in the forecast. Temperatures continue to slide down overnight tonight, and by 10, 11 o'clock we'll be below freezing, and then well below freezing by tomorrow morning. So my concern is for a potential flash freeze with wet roads from the snow and the rain. That quick temperature fall could set up a flash freeze as you head out the door. Be sure and download our Severe Weather Team 11 app from the App Store. It's a great way to follow that temperature trend as you head out the door tonight and early tomorrow morning. We're at 40 right now. The temperature goes only down tomorrow. 15 will be early tomorrow morning, and we're back down in the single digits by tomorrow evening. Wind chills in the 0 to 5 below range, with another system moving in for the weekend.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Well, the flames, as Lisa said a moment ago, starting to die down at a drilling site in North Strabane.
Chopper 11 has been giving us live pictures for the past 45 minutes, and we went from seeing huge flames to now firefighters spraying the scene with foam, as you can see right there. We'll have a live update on this gas drilling site next.